Have you ever had the desire to travel alone in each of our own country's beautiful islands? To see all of our own rich forest lands, vast mountain ranges, farmlands, and all of our white sand beaches? Most of the people that I know dream about going to another country to discover another place. But for me, I'm crazy about discovering the abundance and richness of our own country's natural beauty. Discovering more about our people, our culture, and just to fall in love with our motherland's nature. And I'm willing to do this alone, even if it could be described as a mystical place or could be thought of as an unsafe to be done by a solo traveling woman. And I'm just willing to do it, and I swear I would never have any regrets. I'm Sarah, and I'm inviting you to unravel the mystical island of Siquijor here in the Philippines. My journey begins with Dumaguete City. My flight cost around 3,500 pesos from Cebu Pacific, which I bought from a promo flight. Sibulan Airport is the gateway to the city, and this is where I decided to stay for the night before I take my planned ferry to Siquijor Island tomorrow. I also took a tricycle from the airport going to Pantawan, where the ticketing offices are located for the ferries. They have OceanJet, Montenegro Lines, and Allison, and all of these have scheduled trips to Siquijor starting in the morning at 6 a.m. until evening at 8 p.m. I decided to take the OceanJet trip at around 7:20 a.m., amounting to 330 pesos for tourist class the next day. After purchasing my ticket for the next day, I asked the tricycle driver if he could take me to Casa Arrieta, which is the hotel that I booked through Agoda, which cost around 560 pesos for the night. When I arrived, the owner of the casa was really kind and accommodating because she was able to answer all of my questions with regards to the city tour. She even sent me an itinerary of where and what places I can go to. After quickly settling down, I went to a Vietnamese restaurant named Mr. Saigon. I told the casa owner that I was really craving for Vietnamese food, and she was very kind to recommend to me this restaurant, which was only 10 minutes from the casa. I'm sorry if I was not able to film myself eating pho that I ordered, but it was absolutely delicious. Here is a photo instead. This is their pho boko, and I also ordered mango juice with chia seeds, and I must say that this was the best pho that I had by far, even away from Manila, and the best meal that I had during this trip. If I was a foodie, I would definitely go back to Dumaguete City. After my fantastic dinner, I went to Pantawan Boulevard at around 9 p.m., which was surprisingly very much alive and full of lights. They even have light figures in the middle of the boulevard with the theme of various endemic animals in Visayas. It was full of people, families, and kids enjoying the Friday night. I really enjoyed the scenery in this place because it was very relaxing to just stroll in the area at night, feel the breeze of the sea, and just felt very safe even if I was just alone exploring the boulevard. I spent a good hour walking around and just enjoyed the sights and the people. I also took a photo of the Dumaguete City lights as a souvenir. After that amazing walk around the boulevard, I took a tricycle back to Casa Arrieta for just 20 pesos and prepared and rested myself for a sea trip to Siquijor Island the next day. I left my hotel at around 7 a.m. the next day. The owner of Casa Arrieta was very kind to get a tricycle for me to take me immediately to the Pantalan, which was just 10 minutes from the casa. At the terminal, I had to pay a fee of 15 pesos and also have my bags checked. The OceanJet ferry was now boarding passengers when I arrived, and I was already at a hurry in the moment. My economy class ticket for OceanJet is the upper deck of the ferry, which is what I most likely prefer because of the easy access to the ocean view. The upper deck also did not have much of passengers, and there is more freedom to move around and take photos and videos. The sea during our ferry travel was quite calm that morning, and I did not feel any seasickness at all. Travel time was only around 40 minutes, and the time flied fast while I was mostly standing during our trip taking videos and photos. Most of the time, I was marveling at the beauty of the sea as we traversed across the Cebu Strait. Soon enough, the fast craft arrived at the port of Siquijor. The turquoise waters welcomed us and the smell of the sea was so enticing, I was already getting very excited to start my day trip. I remember our boat arriving at around 8:20 a.m. and each of my steps getting into the port of Siquijor made me even more excited. We were asked to present a copy of our vaccination cards and our confirmed hotel booking at the port and lodge some of these information at the port. It's most likely part of COVID requirements. Once this was done, I waited for my tour guide in one of the carinderias in the port. Some local tour guides approached me to offer a day tour, but I politely declined by saying that I have already arranged a tour guide for my day trip. So I waited for my tour guide, Kenjan Odessa. He arranged to pick me up at the entrance of the port and take me to the hotel via motorcycle before we start our tour at 9 a.m. I've already arranged a land trip itinerary with my tour guide a month before my scheduled trip to Siquijor. I found his profile in Facebook group as a certified tour guide in Siquijor. He also had lots of good reviews from many tourists. Finding your tour guide in Siquijor at least a month or weeks in advance could be very helpful because you can ask as many questions as possible from your tour guide and also organize your itinerary in the best way that you prefer possible. After quickly dropping off my bag in my hotel, our first destination was Lugnason Falls, located in the town of San Juan, which was just 7 minutes from Tourist Backpackers Inn. It was open at 7 a.m. and closes at 5 p.m. daily, and there was no entrance fee to pay. We trekked towards one of the tallest falls in Siquijor for a good 5 minutes. The weather was perfect, and thankfully enough, I used my hiking shoes because my beach flip-flops would be of no use to the rocks and some of the wet soil in the trek. Our timing was perfect when we arrived at Lugnason Falls because there was no other tourists but us. So I went immediately to take solo photos and videos with the falls. Lugnason Falls is estimated to be 10 meters high and with a depth of 8 meters. Tourists brave enough to drop into the falls can do a jump at the top of the falls or do their acrobatic jumps using the Tarzan rope propped at the side of the falls. After a few photos and videos, I decided not to dip yet into the waterfalls and asked Ken to take me to our next destination, Pitogo Cliff. Pitogo Cliff is just 10 minutes of motorcycle ride from Lugnason Falls, also in the town of San Juan. There is an entrance fee to be paid at the gate for 30 pesos, but just also a side note on entrance fees, you'll only be paying for yourself and your tour guides are not required to pay for any entrance fee in your Siquijor trip. Pitogo actually is this aesthetic-looking tree plants surrounding the rocky cliffs and is actually from a family of critically endangered cycad. They have fern-like leaves but firm and are as tall as a banana tree. However, the fruit of these trees are not edible. This rare tree plant can be found in different parts of the Philippines and also in Asia and are mostly seen near ocean water. Once we have crossed this marvelous pathwalk of rare tree plants, we were immediately welcomed by the astonishing view of the Cebu Strait and of the high cliff made up of sharp rock formations. According to my tour guide, Pitogo Cliff is 40 feet high and only local tourists would jump into the water during summer season. It was high tide and the currents were very strong at the time we visited the cliff, so jumping into the sea was not allowed at the time. The view of the sea from the cliff was pretty stunning, so I really insisted to have a photo taken on this side of the cliff. At first, I watched how other tourists went onto the cliffside to have their photo taken while marveling at the sea and waiting on my turn. As an advice, you must really have strong balance and tolerance for heights before jumping in for a photo at the side of the cliff. So here's mine for a reference. Our next destination is the famous Balete tree with fish spa. After paying the entrance fee of 20 pesos, I also joined the many tourists who are enjoying the fish spa. It was my first time to try being bitten by fish, and it was really fun because you would really feel that the small fish are biting at your feet and probably removing your dead skin. I stayed at the spa area for a good 10 minutes and then went to the front of the Balete tree for a photo of the Balete tree as a souvenir. You have to be patient to get a photo in front of the tree because many tourists take turns for a photo op at this ancient Balete tree. Good thing I have my tour guide with me to take my photo. Speaking of souvenirs, you should not miss checking out the souvenir shops in front of the Balete tree area. They have ref magnets, wallets, unique looking designs of keychains. This one looks like a witch sitting on a broomstick, so this design looks pretty unique. They have small keychains with very different and unique designs. They also sell love potions for those looking for a love life. But what I bought as a souvenir are keychains as well, so you can get 3 different designs of the mini keychains for just 100 pesos. After the quick fish spa from the Balete tree, we went to Lagaan Falls, which is just 12 minutes away from the Balete tree, and this is in the town of Lazi in Siquijor. You also have to pay 15 pesos as entrance fee to the falls and just log in a few information, your name, age, and place where you came from. Our trek going to Lagaan Falls was very enjoyable and therapeutic for me because the path was full of trees and plants everywhere. Also, the trail was not slippery and there are bamboo railings in most of the trail for me to hold on for safety. According to McKen, it was mostly sunny in Siquijor in the past few days, so our trek for that day was just perfect. It did not take long for us to reach the falls, which is just 5 minutes trek. The Gatorade blue water of Lagaan Falls welcomed us when we reached the falls. If you are brave enough, you can dare yourself to try the Tarzan rope propped at the side of the falls for a quick jump. My tour guide tried it out first. I also tried the Tarzan rope myself, but I didn't do this alone. There are 2 tour guides stationed in Lagaan Falls and they helped me hold down the rope since I'm a newbie into trying the Tarzan jump. It was scary at first, but it was one of the best experiences that I had for this Siquijor trip. Here's a raw video of mine trying Tarzan jump for the first time. We stayed for a good 30 minutes in the falls and part of this is my Tarzan jump and my slide down the falls. I also swimmed a little onto the falls and did a lot of pictures in the falls.
How is it?
It's great! What? Oh, that's scary! Oh, that's scary! First time kong ano namin dyan?
Tarzan swing.
First time kong mag-Tarzan swing in Lagaan Falls.
Yeah.
Ang saya!
So, try mo din yan o, yung sa middle. Merong, sliding. Yan.
Sliding?
Oo, sliding.
Tapos ganun lang ako.
Oo, kaya upo ka lang, tapos papunta ka na dyan sa tubig. Kulay itim, yan, dyan ka mag-slide. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah. More a little bit. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Let's do
My Tarzan swing and sliding experience in the Gatorade blue water of Lagaan Falls was the most extraordinary way to cap off my half-day trip. And this is only just the beginning, and everything was perfectly falling into place from day 1 in Dumaguete City to the time I reached Siquijor. There's so much more to see and experience in the Siquijor trip, so I hope you watch out for the day 2 of my Siquijor trip and subscribe so you will be notified of how I made the most of my final day in this mystical and beautiful island of Siquijor. If you like this video, you can like, comment, and share this video to your friends. Let me know if you want more information on my solo Siquijor trip by commenting on this video, and I will be gladly sharing this information to you on my next videos. See you again guys, bye!